Listen to me and listen to me clearly. Please do. Please listen to what I got to say. I'm begging you. I'm begging you. Understand this. There are people in this world, either through means of ignorance or through means of sheer evil, that will try to convince you that you are not significant. And the reality is that you are significant. And I don't want you to ever, I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's your best friend that's trying to convince you that you're insignificant. I don't care if it's your parents that are trying to convince you that you are insignificant. I don't care who it is. Never allow someone to convince you that you are insignificant. Because in my opinion, they are dead ass wrong. Let's talk about it. Welcome to another episode of Career Strategies. My name is Rodney Hughes, Mr. 100%. Today's episode is being brought to you by Interview Prep University. Do you need help preparing for an upcoming telephone, video, or face-to-face interview? Well, if so, and you want to be best prepared to be able to show up, show out, kick ass, take names, then you got to take advantage of this resource. It's 100% free. You don't have to sign up for anything whatsoever. All you have to do is head on over to www.interviewprepuniversity.com. www.interviewprepuniversity.com. I'm going to literally teach you a step-by-step system that is designed to help you exponentially improve your skills, your job interview skills at every single phase of the job interview process, from point A all the way to point Z. There's no other product on the marketplace like this. And definitely, you're not going to find anything like this that's free. Okay? But I want to see you win. And that's why I made it 100% free. So go on over to www.interviewprepuniversity.com and you could gain immediate access today. Okay, so again, here's the deal. I think the way to sum up today's podcast and today's episode is by a question. And the question is this: do you really, and that's the key word there, do you really think that you're insignificant? Goodness gracious. I want you to think about this. Just really think about this. I want you to think about all the different ways that you could have been wiped off planet Earth to where you don't even hear the message that I'm telling you right now. Do you know how many different ways that you could be killed on this planet? Listen, we as human beings, we're not that durable. We're just not. Think of all the different ways that people end up dying. And listen, I'm not trying to be overly morbid. This is just a fact. You can die from natural causes. You can die from lightning strikes. You can die from car accidents. You can die from plane accidents. You can die from swimming. Okay. You could die from just tripping and landing the wrong way. I mean, there's so many different ways that you could be wiped off of this planet. I don't wish that upon you. I definitely don't. And God knows that I don't wish it upon myself. I believe I'm going to have a long, fruitful life. I'll be able to raise my family. I'll be able to, see my grandkids grow up. Right. I believe all these things. See my son grow up, be a powerful man of God. I believe I'll get to see that. I do. And with that being said, I'm not delusional about the world that we live in. And that's what makes me walk around feeling so blessed and highly favored. Because I know all the different things that go on in this world. And with that being said, there are people in this world that would like to make you think, either through means of ignorance or through means of evil, that you are insignificant. And I don't believe you're insignificant whatsoever. I don't even think you're close to being insignificant. You know, I sit here, what makes me think about this, and I forgot the guy's name, but I was listening to the Joe Rogan podcast. I forgot when. I was listening to the Joe Rogan podcast maybe a couple weeks ago or so. And he was on this particular episode. I don't recall the guy's name right off the top of my head, so sorry about that. But but I was listening to this guy, and he was kind of explaining how big the universe is. And he was just talking about kind of how it was almost as if, I can't recall if he directly said that we're insignificant or if he was kind of implying that we are insignificant, right? But the thing is that let's even go, let me attack this from this perspective. Let's imagine for a second that on the grand scope of things, you are insignificant. Let's just imagine it for a second. How does that help you in life? By you believing that you're insignificant. How? Like, see, it's like I told my cousin, like I just told my best friend, one of my best friends earlier today. I said, listen, I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I don't even claim to be. There's so many other people in this world that are smarter than me. But one thing I have a gift for? I have a gift for just looking at things from a very practical, very common sense type of perspective. Okay? And when I look at it from a very common sense perspective, what benefit does it serve you to view yourself as insignificant? It does nothing good for you to think that way. See, if I don't think that I have significance on this earth, you know what ends up happening as a result of that? My actions end up dictating, or my actions end up reflecting that lack of significance that I have for myself, or that I believe I have for myself. Right? See, if I don't think that that I'm significant, what do I have to lose? Huh? If I think there's nothing, really to live for, that there's nothing I can do to improve this world or improve my situation or improve the things around me, why even try? You see how that works? So for me, whenever I hear people kind of talk like that, I don't really judge them. I'm not trying to call them stupid or anything like that. I just don't agree with their perspective. I don't think that I'm insignificant as a human being. I don't think anybody, regardless of their race, regardless of their creed, regardless of their religious beliefs, I don't think anybody is insignificant. Right? I just don't. I believe we all are here to serve a purpose. I believe that every single person that has ever been born has a seed of greatness. and it's here to serve a purpose. Now, what that purpose is, I have no earthly idea. All I can do is think what I believe my purpose is. And I'm doing what I believe my purpose is. And I feel great doing it. And that's how I feel. That's why I feel like it's my purpose, because it feels so effortless when I'm doing it. I think it's your responsibility to find out what your purpose is. But that's impossible to do if you think that you are insignificant. I don't care how much they tell you, look up at the sky and look at the universe and how big. I was looking on YouTube. I was looking at YouTube the other day, and I guess I'm kind of a nerd, and I say that in a real, not in a demeaning way. I say it in actually an admirable way, because I admire people who like learning. Okay, I believe that the nerds rule the world, quite honestly. Okay, but I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to learning about things in the world, right? And just kind of learning about space. Like the older I become, the more intrigued I become about the potential that's out in space. Okay. But I couldn't help when I was looking at this video where it's like they started off with Earth. Okay. Or I think they actually started with something smaller than Earth, well, some planet that was smaller than Earth. And then what would happen is they were playing music in the background, and then they would slide to the right, and then you would see another planet, and then slide to the right and see another planet. And I guess what they were trying to show you is a visual representation of how big the planets are and how small we are in comparison to the universe, to the quote unquote, what they described as the known universe. And it was so interesting looking at it, because it was like, when they finally got to the Earth was big, but then it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then they finally get to the Milky Way, right? Our galaxy. And then they made that look small, right? And they just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then they got to what was considered the known galaxy. And it just kept getting bigger. And by the time they got to like the last slide, it was like, quote unquote, the known universe, right? The Milky Way was like a pin, like it was almost like like a marker, like you took a marker and just dabbed it on a piece of paper. That's how small our entire Milky, universe was once they got to it. And when I saw that, I was like, what are they trying to say here? I don't really understand what they are getting at here. Because it was almost as if that whole video, in some weird, indirect kind of way, was designed to make you believe that you are insignificant. And immediately I just thought about it. I was like, dude, I don't know. Here's the reality. I don't know what I don't know, right? Here's what I know. I know that there's a whole bunch of stuff that I don't know about this world and in this world and so on and so forth, right? But at the core of my belief, and maybe it is ignorance, maybe it is, I don't know. But what I could tell you is this, just from a common sense perspective, I don't see the value as a human being on this earth in thinking, right? Whether you think it's a fact or whether you think it's opinion or whatever, I don't see the value in thinking that you are insignificant at all. Matter of fact, when I analyze and I see the people that have impacted the world, the people that we look up to, right? The people who have dared to explore uncharted paths and do things that were greater than the average man. I just do not believe that these people walked around all day, every day thinking that they were insignificant? How can you grow? How can you, do anything of a positive nature if your perspective about you as a human being on this planet is that you are insignificant? I've never met an extremely successful person who had a mindset that they were insignificant. Yet I've seen people on YouTube, I've seen people online talk as if we are so insignificant in the big picture and the big scope of things. It just doesn't make sense to me. Another thing I was talking to my friend about, let me take a real quick sip. Another thing that I was talking to my friend about not too long ago was this idea that, have you ever just took a step back and thought about all the things that could have wiped your entire bloodline out of existence throughout the years? It's very possible. If you truly believe that dinosaurs existed in this world, then you are forced to believe that it is possible for the human race to eventually one day become extinct. You have to believe that, right? Because there aren't any real, dinosaurs walking around today. A whole species got wiped off planet Earth. If you believed in dinosaurs. I believe in dinosaurs, but some people, I'm sure there are some people in this world that don't believe in dinosaurs. Whole species that was wiped off the planet Earth. Eliminated. Right? So how much easier would it have been with all of the chaos that has taken place on this planet? Do you know how many wars have been fought on this planet? You know how much chaos and carnage has been performed on this planet? You know how much life has been lost, either by natural means or through chaotic means on this planet? If you start to really just think about it, with all the chaos that is taking place from a natural perspective and from a human being perspective, if you really start to think about it, there's so many things that had to go absolutely right in order for you to be here today. In order for you to hear this message that you are listening to right now, as we speak, there were so many, I can't even give a number to it. There are so many things that had to go right since the beginning of time in order for the conditions to be right enough for you to exist as a human being. And yet there are some people on this planet that want you to believe that you are insignificant. You gotta be kidding me. It just don't make sense. Now, why am I harping on this? I'm harping on this because I believe you have a seed of greatness. I believe that regardless of what you have accomplished in the past, don't matter. I don't care if you failed 1 billion times in the past. I'm sure you haven't, but I wouldn't care if you have failed 1 billion times in the past. If you are here listening to this message right here or right now, as we speak, I don't care what part of the world that you are on. I don't care what obstacles you face. If you're hearing this message, I want you to understand that you're significant. If don't nobody else on this planet think that you're significant, I want you to understand that I think you're significant. I truly do. And I'm not even saying this to be on no, touchy-feely, type stuff. I mean, I really believe this. You're special. You are here for a reason. I don't believe in coincidence. I don't believe that you are here today because of mere coincidence. And I'm not going to say that you're wrong if you do believe that. Hey, this is just my opinion. Take it for what it's worth. If you don't agree with it, then fine. Okay? But in my opinion, I think you're special. Because I believe in human life. I really do. I believe that human beings have the ability to tap into different aspects of their existence and become and kind of like change their nature. I've seen people. I've been that person. You know, I told this guy once before, I just thank God because I could have easily been a nightmare walking, because I was blazing down that path as a child. As a child, some of the stuff that I have done in my life, I just thank God. When I look back, I just thank God that God was like, "Ooh," you know that expression? God takes care of babies and fools, or something like that. Oh, I know God was like, "Oh, this boy here is a fool. Let me go ahead and take care of him." I don't think it was a coincidence. And I'm always grateful for that. And that's part of the reason why I believe in human beings so much. I believe that we have an ability to change our nature. I do. But I do also think that it's impossible to change your nature to something positive and to accomplish great things in this world if you're operating from a place of not believing that you are significant. It just doesn't make sense. I've never met an extremely successful pessimistic person. Period. Every successful person I've ever met has had a high self-esteem, has viewed themselves as having what it takes in order to get the thing done that they were trying to get done. I've never seen a person wildly successful that's like, man, I'm like the most unsuccessful person, insignificant person that you ever want to meet, bro. I ain't never seen that person. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about that, okay? Because in your career, if you want to have a successful career, I don't care whether you're working for somebody else on a job, as most people, easily 99% of the people on planet Earth do. Easily 99% of the people on planet Earth work a job at some point in their career. Okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? But whether you're working for somebody else or whether you're working for yourself, you're a business owner of some sort, doesn't matter. Okay, whatever career path you are taking, understand this. It is impossible for you to even come remotely close to your potential if you think that you're insignificant. Absolutely impossible. And that's why I wanted to talk about this today. I would much rather, whether you believe it or not, I would rather you operate from a mindset of, I'm significant. I can change myself. I can change my situation. Because I am significant. I would rather you think that way than to think the opposite way. And that's based on a true story. Now, check this out. Let me ask you a question. Do you know what the number one challenge is that you're going to face in your career? Do you? Most people don't. Here it goes. The biggest challenge you're going to face in your career is competition. Flat out competition. Right now, as we speak, the competition in the job force is absolutely fierce. It's fierce. There's so much competition, it'll make your head spin. You are no longer just competing with the people in your immediate city. I tell people this all the time. If you think that a job is worth applying for, that you're interested in a job enough to actually apply for that job, at the very least, there are hundreds of other people on this planet who would feel the exact same way about that job. Easily. If you think it's a great job, I promise you there's other people that think it's a great job. Okay? But over the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, the competition is going to become absolutely insane. With the technological advancements that are being made as we speak, all you gotta do is look around. Go to Kroger. Go to, some of your bigger stores and just look at what's taking place. They are trying to replace you. Technology is advancing at an outrageous pace, and they are trying to eliminate employees. Okay? And so at a certain point, it's going to get to a place to where everybody's going to have a highly skilled background. And it's going to become outrageously competitive. Okay. And if you want to be best positioned to have an advantage in the workforce so that you don't feel the pain of the competition nearly as much, then you need to have a system for eliminating your competition. And that's what this book is all about. The ugly truth about getting hired, how to land the job of your dreams regardless of the competition. It's all about how do you strategically position yourself as the ideal candidate of choice so that you eliminate almost all of your competition. This book is designed to help you improve your odds of being able to do that. If you'd like to pick up a copy, all you have to do is go on over to www.theuglytruthbook.com. Again, that's www.theuglytruthbook.com. It will be, in my opinion, the single greatest investment that you've ever made in your career. Hands down. Hands down. And you know why? Because here's the thing. Here's something else I always tell people. In the ideal world, the person with the best skills will always get the job, typically. But in the real world, it's the person who creates the best perception that will typically always get the job. And those two things aren't always the same. Okay? So the question is do you know how to position yourself from a perception perspective as the ideal candidate of choice? Well, this book is all about teaching that system of how to do that. Again, head on over to www.theuglytruthbook.com. Listen, hopefully you got great value out of today's episode. If you did, do me a favor, share it on all of your social media platforms. And listen, until next time, I want you to stay focused. Go after your dreams. You are significant. So go after your dreams and make it happen. And I'll see you in the next episode.